Okay, let's begin week 4 of yoga. Find your place on the mat and come to Tadasana pose. Get your body nice and tight. Face your palms forward and let that mindfulness carry over from the meditation session to this yoga session right now. Feel your breath just like you do in meditation. The only thing that changes is the activity. We're adding in more of that physical component right now. Remember that the context stays the same. The only thing that changes is the content. So let's come to a double arm lift, both arms overhead. And we're going to add in a back extension movement to this double arm lift. So squeeze your abs and make sure they're nice and tight, and then lean back slightly. So we want to squeeze our abs to take the load off our back as we're leaning back. And you can come back forward and relax. Let your arms come down. And let's flow back up when you're ready. And go. Inhale, lift your arms. Add in that back extension. Making sure your abs are squeezed and tight. Continue to reach your arms up towards the ceiling. And relax. Lower your arms back down. Reset. Inhale, lift your arms again overhead. One more back bend. And also lean your head back as well. And relax. Lower your arms back down. Let's get ready for a single arm lift, starting with our left arm bending to the right side. You also want to extend back as well as you're bending to the side. And just let your head drop. Relax, lower your arm back down. Let's move to the right arm, bending to the left side. Let your head drop. Continue to pay attention to how your breathing is right now. And then exhale to lower your arm back down. Let's come back to the left side, bending to the right. And relax, exhale, lowering the arm back down. Right arm again, bending to the left side. Exhale, lower that arm back down. Let's get ready for Uttanasana. Coming to forward bend, you can dive down, relaxing those posterior muscles. You can add some movement side to side if you want to. Most importantly, let your head drop down and relax. Just check in with how your hamstrings feel, how your back muscles feel. If you're feeling loose or extra bit of tightness today, whatever it may be. Let's come up to halfway lift, either placing your hands below your knees or above your knees for less difficulty. If your back is tighter, we want to keep that back as flat as possible. And release back into forward bend, drop your head down, and try to reach down farther than before. And the way to work this is to Lower your body down with each exhale of the breath. And inhale, come up to halfway lift. Once again, keeping your back flat. And exhale back into another forward bend. Try to set your gaze behind you through your legs. Let's inhale, coming back up to another halfway lift. You can see how I'm working lower on my leg with each halfway lift. You should be doing the same if you can. Try to push and challenge yourself. Let's come back to forward bend, Uttanasana again. And you can inhale to stand up straight, coming up nice and slow and controlled. Reset your body. Then you can place your hands together for the hip hinge and rotation pose. Bend your knees, hinge your hips back, and you can rotate to the left, placing your right elbow on your left thigh. Make sure you're nice and rotated and that your head and your gaze are pointed up towards the ceiling. And don't forget, if you want to, you can incorporate those modifications that I stated in the earlier sessions. And relax, come back to center. Let's rotate to the right again, placing our left elbow on our right thigh. Rotate up, look up towards the ceiling again. Back to center, and then to Uttanasana, forward bend. Inhale to stand all the way back up. So you're ready for Virabhadrasana, the warrior series poses. Starting with the right leg forward, left leg back. You know the foot placement by now. Try to get nice and long and then lean forward on that front leg and come to warrior one, making sure your hips are squared up forward. Warrior two. Triangle pose with the front leg extended. So slide your right hand down the leg and your left arm's extended up towards the ceiling. And let's come to bent triangle pose. So you're going to let that right knee bend and the left arm is going to drop over your head. Continue to lean forward, extend back slightly. Warrior two. And step forward. Switch to the other side. Same foot placement. Lean forward and come to warrior one. Warrior two. Extended triangle pose. Bent triangle pose. Your arm drop over your head. Warrior 2. And step forward. We're going to get another set on each side. So right leg forward again, left leg back. Warrior 1. Warrior 2. Extended triangle pose. Reach down and up farther than before. Bent triangle pose. Try to reach and challenge yourself. Continue to focus on your breath as we come into Warrior 1. Step forward. Bring your feet together, switching sides. Warrior 1. Warrior 2. Extended triangle pose. Bent triangle pose. Lean forward and reach. Warrior 1. To finish here. And step forward, bring your feet together. Let's work down towards the floor on our mats, coming to Virabhadrasana, saddle pose. And just sit back on your feet and your heels. Make sure that your legs are angled out slightly. Let's relax and reset here. And you know where you're at in this progression right now. Let's lift both arms and dive forward into child's pose. Make sure to press and extend your arms forward, dropping your forehead to the mat so it can rest. In a moment here, we're going to add in a side bend. So you can move right now into that side bend over to your right side, placing your right hand on top of your left. Keep pressing your arms forward and to the side as you bend. And come back to center, reset in regular child's pose. And let's bend over to the right for that side bend. I mean the left, sorry. Work your way back to center. One more time in regular child's pose. Continue to rest here. I'm going to bring you up to speed on the next pose you're going to do. So something new. It's going to be a lunge hip flexor pose stretch. So you're going to get into a lunge for that one. And you're going to drive your hips forward to stretch those hip flexor muscles. So the anterior muscles that flex your hip, bring your hip into flexion. And we're going to add in an ankle dorsiflexion to that pose too. Continue to stay in child's pose for a moment longer. And you can push your body back up. Let's actually come to another extended child's pose. Now you can push your body back up into Virabhadrasana. And let's come to that lunge position for the hip flexor pose and stretch. So starting with the right leg forward, left knee back on the ground, hips squared up forward, and you're going to drive your hips forward to stretch that left hip flexor. You can reset. Let's move our foot back a few inches. You're going to lean forward onto that front foot, driving your knee past your toes. For ankle dorsiflexion, we're going to be stretching the posterior side of that right leg. And come back to reset, and then lean forward again. You can use your arms to rest on that right knee to put some weight on your leg. You come back. Let's switch sides. Left leg forward, right leg back. That knee's on the ground. And you can lean forward by driving your hips forward, stretching that right hip flexor. And lean back to reset. Move your left foot back a few inches, and then lean forward onto that ankle, driving your knee over your toes, past your toes. You can use your hands and your arms to place some weight on that leg so it drives your knee forward even more. Lean back to reset. Lean forward again onto that ankle. You might find your ankles really tight when you do this. That's okay. This is why we're working on it. Lean back and forward again onto that ankle into dorsiflexion. Lean back, and you can come back towards your mat, both knees on the ground. We're going to come to pigeon pose. So you're going to cross your right leg in front of you and extend your left leg back behind you, placing both hands on the mat and the floor. To start, you're going to gauge where you're going to begin here. And then you want to drop your chest towards your knee and your leg and just notice how tight you are or how loose you are. That will gauge how far you can go down. If you can get your chest all the way down on your leg, then drop your hands off the ground and come to your elbows. We're going to reset and come to switch sides here. Left leg forward. Make sure it's crossed in front. And then extend your right leg back behind you. Same setup. And then drop your chest towards that leg in front of you. You can get your chest all the way down on that leg. Come down towards your elbows. Hands off the ground. This is a very challenging pose here. So if you're high up, that's a-okay. We're going to relax, swing that right leg forward to reset. And we're going to get ready for today's Waking Up Introductory Course meditation. You're going to do day number 7. So when you're ready for that, open your app and complete day 7 of the intro course.